Be present, be yourself, is what I'm going to start this video diary off with. I'm back in California. I was in Delaware for like 2.5 weeks and then got stuck in Dallas for 2 days because I had flights canceled back-to-back nights. But I was in Dallas where my brother lived. So I ended up just like staying a couple nights with him. My flights got canceled like an hour before, so I had to spend Ubers to get to the airport and back, which sucked, but it was really cool to get to spend time with my brother. And Delaware was really fun. I got to do more work for Brightside, so I had more work to work on when I came back to California, and I worked with a CP, cardiology physicians. Terrible nickname, by the way. But yeah, so I'm here now, and it's been a fun little trip. I like how I can go to Delaware and have work and have like stable money, and then come back to California and, try to like find clients and all that kind of shit. So I'm still working through the inconvenience of that, because, oh my god, who doesn't fucking like or hate sending emails? Good god. So today I actually tried to make it easier for myself. So I built like an entire portfolio out for my restaurant content, for my construction content, for my, all of the different stuff that I've had, like headshots. So now I can send each client, depending on what group they're in, certain things. So I'm, trying to make it easier for myself. So I'm proud of that. And I filmed a little short film the other day, and I learned so much. I was kind of doing research on film itself, and I've been in videography and photography for the past 7-8 years, and somehow I never knew about the like double shutter speed rule. So I knew you always were supposed to have double your shutter speed, but I didn't know it was supposed to be like locked in order for it to be visually appealing or like similar to how the eye would work. So if you have a 24 frames per second video, it's supposed to be locked at 1/50th, unless you're having like a really intense battle scene where you want it to be like 1/180th shutter speed or something. So I never knew that. Obviously I know ISO. No, and then I also learned about native ISO on a camera. Like I was never told any of this stuff while I was in broadcast media in high school, so I'm glad I'm still learning. I like being a human. That's what we're here for, is to keep learning. So yeah, a lot of like really cool experiences. Being a person has been really fucking complicated, especially now, because I've been like comparing myself to myself in the past, which isn't necessarily, I don't want to say it's necessarily a bad thing or a good thing, but I will be like in a specific mindset and I'll be like, oh, this reminds me of how I felt during this moment, or this reminds me of how I felt during this moment. So, which isn't always like the best thing in the world, but it is kind of like cool to recognize that. You just don't have to keep, don't let that make you think the same thing is going to happen again, essentially. So I like kind of, it's in human nature to create patterns within ourselves, but as a whole, I'm really looking forward to the future. That short film that I had filmed was fucking weird. I'm gonna put it together. I'm such a procrastinator. I'm such a perfectionist. I've kind of realized that. Well, I've known that my entire life. But within my perfectionism, it's one of those things that you avoid. Like, I've realized, I'm an avoidant person within relationships, but I didn't realize that I'm an avoidant within my creative side too. And that's really interesting to me. So I will avoid editing a film that I really like, because I'm afraid it might not live up to the expectations I have in my mind, or it might not be good enough in my eyes, so I avoid it. And I always thought that that was just something that I had done within relationships, but now realizing that I do that within my like career as well, I'm actually kind of excited for, because now that gives me something to actively work on and push through and learn how to deal with the things that I love, especially like within me and within my career, that I can end up sharing that with somebody else. So I think I need to learn how to deal with isn't the right word, but I think I need to learn how to properly guide myself to get to the outcome that I want within my own creative side, so I can share that with other people. So I'm starting to recognize, I am a creative, and I'm really proud of the things that I do create, and it takes a lot in order to do that. And especially, like, creativity is the ultimate vulnerability. I've sort of realized that it's when you're a creative, you are opening up your mind to everybody's opinion. And that can be a great thing, or it could be a bad thing, because that people will, if you're creating something that's truthful to yourself, then people will either hate it or love it. And I think that's the beauty in it. And I think for a creative who's making something that is objectively good for the masses, I don't think is true art. It's absolutely an art. It's like an Avengers movie. Everybody loves an Avengers movie. Everybody loves a Steven Spielberg movie. And yes, I'm dissing Steven Spielberg with this. He makes movies that everybody will like. That's why I don't like him. Because Jaws, Jurassic Park, Saving Private Ryan, all of the movies that he has created have a likeness where everybody will enjoy them. And I think there's a time and place for that, but that is not the type of person that I want to be known by. I want to separate an audience. I mean, obviously you want more people to like something that you create than not, but I think if you have something that you create that everybody likes, you're not doing it right. And that's kind of something that I don't know if I'm ready for. Like truly putting my all into something, truly putting, everything that I've got, and it being susceptible or vulnerable to being dismissed or disliked. Like, that strikes a lot of fear in me, because that is truly opening your chest up in order for it to be stabbed, essentially. Now, you're not going to die when it's being stabbed, but it's like, oh, but that's a good thing. Like, that's a good problem to have. But I think that's where, like, the avoidance stuff comes in. And it's fascinating. And when you kind of realize that, you think it's just in one aspect of your life, but it goes through everything. It's a cool shift to recognize that, and then you have to hold yourself accountable in order to, learn and grow from that. So I'm doing the work that I need to be doing and still pushing through. So, I would never stop myself from not making what I want to make and putting that out there, no matter what anybody said. But it's scary. It's a scary fucking thing, and that's why so many people get discouraged. But I think at the end of the day, if you love what you're creating and you're truthful in what you're making, then I think it's art in itself. That's why when I diss Steven Spielberg himself is probably like, I love the art that I'm making. Same thing, like, I don't like Ryan Seacrest, because Ryan Seacrest is a type of person where it's like, oh, everybody loves Ryan fucking Seacrest. It's, because he's just a likable guy. There's nothing bad about what he's doing. Like, he has a career where which there's a time and place, and there's people that are on this earth to be like that. That is not the person that I want to be, and I'm afraid that I've conducted myself as that kind of person. And that's my fear, that I'm living as somebody that I don't want to be. And I want to get rid of that. I want to be disliked. I want to be loved. I want to be hated. Like, I want people to feel these emotions towards me, but I'm afraid, and that's where the people-pleasing aspect comes in. So, whew, goodness gracious. What a wild conversation. I started taking clonidine, which is like a blood pressure medicine to lower my anxiety. And it works, I can't lie. It definitely does. But, yeah, so It's interesting. It's fucking weird. The one thing I hate about it is like the impulsivity goes down because it's like made for anxiety and ADHD. So since your blood pressure is low, scientists say they don't know why it works for ADHD, but it's because your fucking blood pressure goes down. You're able to think more about what you're doing and recognize the consequences of your fucking actions. It's obvious. I don't know why they're like, oh, I don't know why it works. It's fucking clear. Anyways, yeah. So, that's what I'm here for. I'm Dr. Evil. If you see that this changes colors or like LUTs or whatever during the course of this video, I'm experimenting because I just learned about S-Log shooting in fucking log. I didn't know what the fuck that was. That means you shoot in grayscale, because when you shoot in grayscale, that means you're able to have more control over the way that your shots look. That's fucking awesome. I didn't know that was a possibility. So. Too much talking. Too much vulnerability. I get so anxious. Anyways, I'm just being dramatic. I love you. I hope you enjoy this, and I hope you learned something from what I said today. And, you know, be disliked, be loved, and truly open yourself up to the world, because the world needs more people like you. Just don't cause any harm. And don't be a dick. Like, you can do what you want to do, but not be a dick. But, alright. Toodles. Oh.